My situation where I had that moment where I needed to coach myself was a situation 2 years ago when I was on the leadership team in Denver, where our assistant principal of culture had a microaggression towards our leadership, another leadership member, and correcting her speech. She's an English language learner, and the way it came across was very much a microaggression, and in that moment I wish I would have engaged in that conversation to bring awareness and create a safe environment for our leadership team. So I'm going to model through what I should have said in that moment versus being silent. So Rhonda, I wanted to actually talk to you about what just happened in our leadership meeting and what happened with your exchange with Jenny. And I want to name something, and I understand your intent was not to cause harm to Jenny, but I think there's a difference between intent and impact. And when you corrected her speech in that moment, as a person who has, she immigrated to the United States, and English is her second language, that can come off as a microaggression. And while I do not think you intended to do that, that impact was very significant to Jenny, and I could see that in the moment, being a member in that meeting. And I think it's really important that we as a school, we value social justice, and I think it's important for my role as Dean of Students and your role as Assistant Principal of Culture that we can engage in a conversation. And I'm not going to say that we're all perfect. I've been really guilty of saying microaggressions, and I think it's this reflection piece that we need to go through together in order to do what's right by our staff and do what's right for kids. We are in this position of building a strong culture within our school, and nobody's perfect, and we might fall into some habits of biases that we might not even realize. And I think it's my role when I see those things to name them and allow for us to do a little bit of reflection of where is this coming from? How do we do better? And how do we mend this relationship? At Strive, and you've taught me this, that we value restorative practices. And I think as adults, we have to model restorative practices for our teachers. And inevitably, we've had to do, I've been with you, and we've had restorative mediations between two teachers, and as a leadership team, I think it's our role to model that as well, because we're going to make mistakes, and I think it's important for us to learn from those mistakes and model how to restore those relationships, and especially in our role as culture. This is just so pivotal. So in this moment, I felt like it was important for me to speak my truth and how I felt in that situation and bring it to your attention, because it might have not been something that you realized that you did, but the impact on Jenny and the impact on me as an observer was there. So I would love to work with you and to kind of talk through this and figure out how we can restore the relationship between you and Jenny and not let this continue in a way that's going to be negative to our leadership culture, because I left that meeting observing that and feeling tension, and I think it's important for us as leaders to restore that relationship. And I would love to be a part of the mediation and talk you through and have a conversation with you. And if you would like to further understand, I only have some context of the situation. I just observed it, and I can realize that that's a microaggression, and also take the time to talk to Jenny and understand how she felt in that situation. But I really need to call that to your attention, because as a leader of the school, as somebody that cares about you deeply, I think it's important for me to name this, so we can learn from it and we can move forward and we can restore that relationship.